In the how section, which is actually how do we do it, what's the framework, we're going to go ahead and have more detail. And the structure for that is going to look like this. We're going to have 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the how section, each case will always have these 5 steps. So the first part's going to be data creation. That is, we're going to create the basic data we need for this app that we're going to create. Usually these will be the forms and the sheets inside the database, so we can understand how that works. The next part is going to be the UI, user interface. So then we're going to go ahead and design the user interface that the users will see. Usually this is on the sheets, the Google Sheets. We're going to learn how to protect your data from being changed easily by user, how to change the views, and how to do formatting, things like that. The next part is going to be the form integration. So the Google Forms, which I'm sure you've used before, everybody's used Google Forms, super convenient. But I think it has some power that you don't know about that is super useful and that can help us to create these apps, especially for collecting data in a kind of database way. So I'm going to show you in each case how we do the pre-fill logic for the forms. And this helps us to create a smart user interaction where we can actually interact with the user. Then we're going to look at, after we collect data from the user, how do we modify that data and how do we validate that data? That is, we're going to take the raw data and then change it through some logic into more useful data for us. This useful data could be things like reports, or it could be something like a game result because we're playing a game maybe. Or it could be something like feedback to the user so they can get more information. So there's many things that we can do once we get the data. So let me just quickly clarify that. We have a form, and the form comes into one of our Google Sheets. Okay, so far that's our user interface and our forms, and then we take this and we go ahead and we modify this further into another sheet. And so this information gets changed. And this is the real power of Google Sheets. And this new sheet here then becomes maybe the results for a game, maybe the results for a report, maybe some feedback to the users that they can find useful. So this is where the real app logic works. And so this is a feedback loop we're talking about. And this will update the user interface with new information, and we have a kind of live syncing. The data can change live. That means as new data comes in, the UI of the user can change, which is basically how an app works. So we create an app. It's not really an app. It's this sheet app because it's a Google Sheet, right? It's not really like a Python app or a C# app or something like this, but it is simulating an app. It's very close to an app, and it's what I would call an app sheet. Okay, so that feedback loop is really the key part. This is the goal. We want to have a feedback loop. So each case study will have the different parts, but then the how part will focus on these 5 steps in creating the app.